Hi everyone, and so this is a continuation from my Instagram where I wanted to speak about some tips that and practical advice that can help international students who are struggling with their academics, struggling with balancing their academics and also balancing the fact that they are in a new environment. It can be very overwhelming. I did talk about the first one on my Instagram, but I'm going to say it again now. It's setting realistic expectations for yourself. See, look, give yourself time to adjust. Don't be too difficult on yourself. Yes, we Africans have that. Oh, we're strong, we're resilient people, but we're also human beings. So give yourself some time to adjust, and then also set um smaller goals, smaller achievable goals. Don't make it too big for yourself. Oh yes, I'm studying abroad. Oh yeah, I'm going to pack all the A's. And it's good that you pack all the A's and all, but don't set a very high target expectation for yourself, because at the end of the day, if you do not meet that expectation, you're even going to be more overwhelmed. It's going to discourage you. So set small goals that are they are achievable at the end of the day. Smaller goals that are achievable. So that's my number one tips for you as an international student who is struggling with your academics. You're struggling to understand how the new system where you find yourself. Set achievable goals for yourself. So let your expectation not be too high up there, because at the end of the day, if you're not able to meet that expectation, what happens is that you get more discouraged, it gets more overwhelming, and it begins to attack your mental health, and that's not what you want. So number two is create a study routine. This is something that we, from the part of the world that I come from, we are not very we were not really taught on how to create routine. We don't really know how to create routine. And somebody might be asking, what exactly is she talking about that we don't know how to create routine? Yes, we do not. It's not something that is really part of our culture where we create routine. We're just the kind of people that will just wake up, bam, do something, get it done and all that. You see a country like the United Kingdom, they work on time. They are very timely conscious people. So if you don't have a routine, you would struggle on meeting deadlines. So you need to create a study routine for yourself. What do I mean by that? Try to get to know your assessment deadlines. When is the assessment deadline? Start planning on how you are going to meet those deadlines. So for example, you can say in 1 week's time, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a structure of what my assessment looks like. In the next 2 weeks, I'm going to start with maybe my introduction. In the next 3 weeks, I'm going to start maybe with my literature. I'm going to do maybe part of my analysis. That is you creating a routine for yourself. Not just when you just wake up, you just feel like it, you start and start writing. Before you know it, it could get to the deadline. So say for example, the submission is the 15th of December, and because you didn't create a routine for yourself, on the 13th you just realize, oh, I've not done anything on regarding my assessment, and you start writing and you see that you then start struggling, and the 15th comes, you're not able to meet the deadline, you can't submit, you don't have any reasonable excuse to give the tutor why you're not able to submit on the day of the submission. And what happens is that even when you're then given an opportunity to resubmit, it could be capped to a 40. You're not able to get more than a 40 for some universities, for some modules, and depending on the submission method, or if you're able to get extenuating circumstance, then yes, they might not cap it. So you need to create a study routine for yourself. Create time to study. Also create time for other activities. Sometimes we just, we hear, there's a party going on somewhere. You know, we Africans, we actually really do like party, and we're just jumping there. There's nothing wrong in going for a party, but you need to create a good routine for yourself. If you do not want to struggle with your academics as an international student, my advice, and this is very practical advice, is create a study routine for yourself. Get to know when your classes are. Get to know, look at the timetable early to know, okay, my class is this time and is this. Get to know when the submission deadline is. If the submission deadline is, sometimes what students fail to know is that, for me, for my module, is the first day that I will introduce you to your assessment and tell you the assessment deadline. So that means that if it's a 10 weeks study time, we're going 10 weeks teaching, it means that from the first week I've already introduced you to the assessment and when the submission deadline is, meaning you have how many weeks? 10 weeks. That's 2 months plus. So in your head you'll be thinking, oh, I still have time. You might not really have that time that you're thinking. So in the next 6 weeks, and remember, it is not only one assessment that you have to submit. For some people, they do up to, for example, master's student, you could do up to 4 to 5 modules, 3 to 4 modules. So it's not only one assessment that you have, and that's why creating a study routine, it's very helpful. So for example, you have 3 or 4 modules to submit, assessment to submit. What do? You could say, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be looking at this one in 1 week time, or I'm going to structure all of them together at once. But after structuring, I'm going to begin with this assessment. I'm going to begin maybe with the one that is the easiest, the one that has the lesser word count. And you could then be mapping out on your, set a calendar. We're not so used to that calendar kind of thing, but it's very important in a country like this. Set a calendar for yourself, tick it and say, okay, I've been able to do this, I've been able to do that. That would help you to turn in your assessment on time. And it will also help you to write a good assessment. So don't forget, create a study routine for yourself. This is the third or the fourth one that I'm talking about, is something that we are not very used to, because we always just feel, oh, we're very strong people, Africans, we are strong. Like I said, I think I already mentioned that we are humans. Manage your stress level. It can be very stressful in a new country, a foreign land where you don't have families, and you probably are trying to make new friends. It can be very, very stressful. How do you manage some of this stress? You can incorporate exercise. Just take a walk. It does help. I am not a psychologist, but I'm telling you that it actually helps. And then, if you're struggling, if you think that your mental health has been affected because you're trying to balance your academics, you are struggling academically, please reach out to your university. They do have services like that support students with their mental health. Don't feel ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed about. There is nothing. See, look, like the fingers are not equal, so all of us, when it comes to our mental capability. Some people have a stronger mental capability. They are able to withstand a whole lot. Some people do not, and you know yourself. You know what you're able to take, what you're not able to take. But then maybe you have a friend who is stronger, who maybe you are explaining to the person, it's so stressful since I came to this country. I haven't been doing too well in my academics. It's getting to me. And the person is like, you be African now. Brace up, strong, be strong. My dear, my sister, my brother, please, if you're ever getting to that level, the university has provision to support students who their mental health is a bit shaky. Let me put it that way. Consider, if you've been able to do other ones, yes, for people who are spiritual, you've prayed about it, you take some exercise, you try to eat right foods and staying in touch with family members, and it's still not working, and you're thinking, I cannot handle this. Reach out to the university mental health I think it's the well-being center. That is what it's called in most universities. Reach out to them and speak to them. Don't come forming strong. Because one of the things it will do for you to, when you reach out to them, is that the university understands that you are struggling at the moment and they are able to give you maybe an extension to your submission. Don't go submitting your coursework, your assessment when you are in that kind of mental instability, you're unstable mentally. Don't go doing that. But if you reach out to the well-being center, they will inform the university. The universities are aware, your tutor is aware of it, and they can probably give you an extension, and it will help you, and they will counsel you. Counseling does work. So please try to manage your stress level so you don't get too much overwhelmed, because it might actually impact on your academics. Yeah, so we move to number 3. And what's number 3? Seek academic support. If you're struggling, please do not hesitate to seek for academic support from your tutor. You can write to your tutor. From academic advisors, you can go to the student union. Seek help. Let me put it that way. Where I come from, so I'm speaking about Nigeria and I'm speaking about myself, maybe things are changing. We usually do not really get that kind of academic support where you can easily just run to your lecturer. Oh, I'm struggling on this. Oh, this is what is happening to me. So when we come to a country like this, I'm using the United Kingdom as an example, our mentality, oh, you do things alone. You're struggling, you keep quiet. Things are not going, you don't understand, you don't say a word, you just struggle. It's very different here. Here, lecturers are there to support. Academic advisors are there to support. There's a whole lot of support for you. Please seek for those support. If you're struggling, write to your tutor. If you're not able to meet deadline of your submission, write to your tutor. Let your tutor know, but you must have a good reason why you are not. But some people do have very good, genuine reasons why they cannot. But this fear of, oh, would they? You will not ask for that help. And you then turn in an assessment that it's not properly done. You've not written a good assessment, but because you do not want to seek for such support, you just submit it, and at the end of the day, the assessment comes and you didn't do well. And I'm hearing students saying, oh, I submitted a wrong assessment. You submitted a wrong assessment. Send an email to your tutor that, oh, you submitted a wrong assessment. We all make mistakes. Are we not human beings? Send a wrong. Yesterday night, I just received an email from one of my students that she wanted to try to see her similarity rate, and so she submitted an assessment but realized that she's not able to submit another one. I think maybe she did it during the deadline, because I always set my Turnitin in a way that students are able to submit 3 times, where you can see your similarity and then put in another one. But when it's deadline, you cannot do that. Once you submit one, that's it. So I think that's what happened to the student. And the student emailed me, what can I do now? Even if I may not be able to set Turnitin to do that, I can tell the student, email me the correct version of your assessment, and that's the one I'm going to read and mark for the student. But some of you will just let it go. You submit a wrong assessment, and then, or you are so much in a hurry, something happened, you are going through a whole lot mentally. Like I said, it's not easy when you come to a new country. I am on the plagiarism panel, and I see students who come and they will start saying, oh, I came in late. Yeah, this is what has been happening to me. I've been going through a whole lot of family issues. I know these are the things that you were meant to have sought for help since. Because when you then come at when you've been caught on plagiarism, there's nothing that you can do. There's no sir, I beg, let me put it that way. But you could then, before the submission, you could seek for help, seek for clarification. You don't understand it. I'm always, after my classes, I always just sit back 10 to 15 minutes for students to come and say, oh, they didn't understand this part of the assessment. Oh, what exactly do you mean? And I'm able to explain. And I tell you, every tutor here is there to support you. So when you need support, please do not hesitate. Seek for academic support. It will help you. And the last thing that I want to say, remember, there are other tips, but I just wanted to talk about some key practical tips that you can use that will help you to balance your academics and the new environment where you found yourself. So the next thing is celebrate those little wins. You don't have to wait for it to be one big wins that, oh, at the end of the day, you got a job and all that. No, don't wait for that. Celebrate the fact that you are able to even embrace eating the foods in, maybe if you're in Scotland, that you're even able to understand some of the Scottish accent. Celebrate. It's a win. You're able to adapt, make friends with Scottish people, understand what they are saying. That is a win. Then going back to your academics, your first result comes out and you were expecting to have maybe an 82 and you have a 65. Celebrate it. That is a merit. That is not a bad result. Celebrate it. You complete a group work, did a presentation, and your lecturer gives you a good feedback of the presentation. Celebrate it. You were the one leading the team and your team came up doing a good presentation. Celebrate that. So the little wins that you have, celebrate, because once you celebrate those little wins, what it does is that it encourages you, it motivates you to even go further. So I would say celebrate your little wins. We human beings kind of have this attitude of not always celebrating the little wins. We always want to wait for the bigger one to happen. And sometimes we wait for too long, the bigger one doesn't really happen. And there's nothing that we use in motivating ourselves to even get to see those bigger wins. But when you celebrate, you learn how to celebrate the little wins, it actually does help. So celebrate your little wins, and hopefully the 5 tips, I think it's 5 or 6 tips that I've given you for international students who are struggling with the academics should be able to help you if you are able to incorporate some of these tips. So thank you, and I will see you in my next video. I don't know what I'll be talking about, but we will actually talk about something very interesting. Take care, guys. Bye.